Be playing the video/audio, video for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers, audio for the great radio folks. From this particular clip, we posted this a few days ago up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. It's now broken out into the alternative and mainstream media. WorldNet Daily has the headline, Thatcher Advisor, Copenhagen Goal is One World Government. And it's in the treaty that the global warming/climate change treaty to tax carbon dioxide, that vote is coming up in December in Copenhagen, and it's in the bill. And this will regulate and control every facet of our lives. So we're going to be breaking that down for people today. Again, I'm Alex Jones, your host. I'm glad that you have decided to join us on this live Sunday edition, 4 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're also going to be taking your calls at 888-201-2244 and getting you up on the air, 888-201-2244. Here's another headline. This is out of the Associated Press. U.S. Senator, global warming bill possible soon. And Senator Barbara Boxer goes on to say that she believes it will pass before the Copenhagen Treaty is to be signed by Barack Obama in December. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the United Nations states that this will be a tax on all the food you eat, your car, electricity, everything that goes on inside your home. You will be given home inspections. This is just government growing by 1,000%. And remember, earlier this week, Arnold Schwarzenegger said, as part of the carbon footprint, they're going to tax all home appliances for their carbon footprint in California, setting the precedent for the rest of the U.S., and they're just going to outright ban 40-inch and bigger big screen TVs, calling them power hogs. So this idea of rationing. And the United Nations says that finally you're going to be taxed according to calories. I read this in Club of Rome documents from 1963. By the way, I was in the L.A. airport, and I didn't just buy this Wall Street Journal to read while I was on the plane. I bought a book called The Endless War. No, the Forever War. And I've almost finished that. It's supposedly one of the best-selling science fiction books ever. And it was written in the early 70s. And in between reading the Wall Street Journal on the plane and reading most of the Forever War, in the Forever War, the eugenicists take over the planet. They only first let you have one child. Then they basically ban having children. You've got to have them test tube. And the whole global system is run off of calories. And you're only given so many calories, and they euthanize the old people. Now, I know that author read UN and Club of Rome documents. I know he read Aldous Huxley documents. I know that he read Julian Huxley reports. I know he read Bertrand Russell. Because once you've read what the United Nations says they're planning to do, you know everything that's going to happen. It's just the amazing thing is, now I watch popular culture, and I realize that most people in the establishment, even authors and TV producers, know about this. I watch very little TV, maybe 45 minutes a day when I'm running on the treadmill. That's more than I did in the past. But the point is that I was on YouTube a couple weeks ago, late at night, and I noticed they had the entire Star Trek episodes on there. And I thought, let me just randomly choose an episode. So I clicked on the one that has Khan in it. I guess, decades later they make Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. I watched the one with Khan in it. And in that, they're talking about how a world government got started carrying out eugenics and that the superhuman eugenics leaders were having these off-war battles and almost destroyed the earth, and Khan was one of them. And, of course, I'd read about the eugenics wars in UN documents from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, how they planned to have this eugenics war against humanity. But it was clear that Gene Roddenberry, who'd written that episode, had also read those UN documents. I mean, the point is, I'm not even looking for this stuff. I'm like, oh, this looks like a good science fiction book. I'll take a break. I just shot another episode or 2 episodes of Jesse Ventura's TV show that's coming up in the winter, December and January, on the True TV network. Let me just get a Wall Street Journal, a little bit of research while I'm about to get on the plane in an hour, and let me just buy this book for entertainment. And, let me just click on a Star Trek and watch it. And it's all about eugenics. That's all any of this is about. And then the larger question is, how do I get the public to care about this? How do you get the public to even think that this is important? Past, women care about how big their lips are, or if they're skinny, and men care about how their football team's doing. And that's all fine and dandy. I'm glad women like to look good. I'm glad men like football or whatever. But how do I get people to care they're putting poison in our water? Well, the answer is the public just doesn't believe that. I mean, they don't care if it's in government textbooks. They don't care if their kids drinking it, I guess, or their kids are taking these vaccines. I took my children to Jason's Deli last night, and almost every person, including the employees, was wearing University of Texas burnt orange. And I sat there between a bunch of tables around me, and all anyone was talking about was the University of Texas. And I thought, what would happen if I could get them to all wear Bill of Rights shirts and teach their kids their rights? Or what would happen if I could get them to learn about global carbon taxes and how that's meant to shut down our economy and make us dependent on the government? Man, then these people would have a destiny and have a future. But they've been raised in entertainment and raised to just accept their surroundings and literally just take stimuli from the government and the media and the TV and just regurgitate it. And so I get up here and I tell them about the United Nations. They don't want to hear about that. They don't want to know that a global tax is being set up. They don't want to know they're going to have home inspections. They don't want to know that government ministers and police and military, doctors are refusing to take the flu shot. They don't want to believe me that there's mercury in it, and it says so on the insert. They don't want to believe me it has adjuvants in it and live cancer viruses. They don't want to read Der Spiegel and Bild and Le Figaro and the BBC. I mean, it's actually in foreign news. They don't want to, it's even on Fox News that people are taking the shots and getting paralyzed, but they say, well, that's a good price to pay. It's very, very rare. No, it's not very, very rare. And because, the average person just isn't ready to believe that any of this could be done by design. And because they can't believe that something like this would be done by design, because they don't understand eugenics, I'll tell you, the thinking intelligentsia does. Look how it's all over popular culture and in movies. And well, I'm going to go over this. I'm going to go over how the British government, the German government, they won't take the flu shots themselves. And those that do have a special additive-free one that they take. I'm also going to go over a bunch of economic news. You see, the insurance companies are behind the government takeover of healthcare. And they admit this in their own press releases. But the controlled left goes, oh, no, the insurance companies don't want it.